Intro. If you know me, you will know that I love to think outside of the box. I have been researching most of my life. It's not only intellectual knowledge, yet it's down to earth wisdom. You could call it the land of the mystic, feet on the ground and your head in heaven. Be practical and yet consciously live within the jewel that lies within. Call it whatever you want, but something is keeping you alive. The same power that is keeping you alive is keeping the universe alive. This is my first introduction to Tibetan formal training that I'm about ready to embark on. It's a 16-week course. Lama Glenn Mullen is presenting this course starting July 24th. I'm looking forward to learning more about this ancient wisdom. Here's the beginning of this new journey. Maybe you might want to join in this adventure. Life will give you many signposts and synchronicities if you are open to them. I've been fortunate to be aware of this since childhood. When one is conscious of the inner doors, signposts and synchronicities are a part of your life. Remember, the more attention you pay to something, the more attention it pays to you. My girlfriend Anna and I were driving from Toronto to Vancouver, Canada. The year was 1974. We ran into Mahatma Rajeshwar and Bill Patterson along the way. They were going to do a TV interview and asked us if we wanted to come. We spent a few days there. Bill gave me a copy of a book about Milarepa. He was Tibet's greatest yogi. The Kagyu lineage still exists today. In fact, in Ashland, Oregon, there's a beautiful temple that comes from the Kagyu lineage. Bill unfortunately died about 10 years ago. He was well known for his kindness. I loved the book. I was extremely fascinated by his life. I love to meditate. It is a part of my life. I mean, an incredible part of my life. I had a knack for it. Fast forward about 48 years. I'm on Facebook and I see the interesting post, Tumo and 6 yoga trainings with Lama Glenn. I was quickly drawn to this. What a synchronicity. My mind went back to receiving this precious book on Milarepa many moons ago. Signposts are all around us. Buddha has been following me around for a long time. My parents had a Buddha statue, where as a kid I would get mesmerized by just staring at it. It took all my troubles and worries as a young child away. In my teens, I began a formal meditation practice, which I still do today. My practice is the foundation of my life. I once had a past life regression when my twin brother John, Mark Laurenhurst, and I were students of Buddha. I could see it in my mind's eye. Even today, I can close my eyes and visions will appear. Of course, I can't prove it, grin, yet the impressions are there. Milarepa is another guide. When I first read the book on Milarepa, it was also mesmerizing. I lived in Ashland, Oregon for some time, and there was a beautiful temple that comes from the Kagyu lineage. My wife and I went to the temple a few times, but never heard about how to study with them. Anyway, this is going to be an incredible journey. Both Buddha and Milarepa have been friends with me for such a long time. Once again, how can you explain that? Yet, I most certainly know that we are never alone. This journey is both internal and external. What can I say? We are all blessed. Commentary. The following is my commentary on the YouTube video 6 Yogas of Naropa with Glenn Mullen. He did an incredible job. You are your own master chemist. Did you know that Buddhists have been studying the art and science of happiness for thousands of years? They were probably one of the first to talk about that you are your own master chemist. Buddha once said that when you get angry, you're drinking your own poison. In the last 30 years, Western scientists are on board with this. They know that over 1,500 stress hormones gets released into the body. Recently, I finished the body. You are your own master chemist. From the YouTube video, I learned that my book was in alignment with the Buddhists. Buddha was probably the best psychologist ever known. Granted, he did not call himself that, yet they mapped out the states of mind that the Western world is trying to catch up. Just think, it was only in the 1980s that Western scientists studied the science of happiness. The East is thousands of years ahead of us when it comes to studying the mind. Lama Glenn mentioned there are probably thousands of chemicals that exist that Western scientists does not know about. Only in a heightened state of awareness do these chemicals get produced by the brain. Remember, your state of awareness determines your state of mind and body. If you are constantly stressed out, one has no clue about the mind-body connection.
Your body is your drugstore. The art of Taoism has been around for thousands of years. I find it quite fascinating that they talk about the elixir of life. This elixir is not an herb or any external substance. This elixir exists inside of us. In India, they talk about the nectar from God that flows within. Yet here we are taking drugs for our ailments. Each drug has a huge side effect. No, I'm not saying don't take drugs. I'm saying maybe there is a better way. For example, in China, you pay your doctor when you are healthy. You don't pay when you are sick. Mind you, in modern China, this isn't always the case. But the point is that you focus on balance and harmony. In our culture, everything is fragmented. We don't focus on the harmony of the mind, body, and soul connection. When I was young, I heard about the concept of being in harmony with the universe. To be quite frank, I had no idea what they were talking about. Here's an example of being out of balance. In my junior year, my parents took our family to Yosemite. It's probably one of the most incredible places on the planet. Yet, I couldn't see the forest from the trees. I was miserable. Why? Because I missed the ocean. Now, that's being out of balance. Before we can begin to be in harmony with the universe, let's try to be in harmony with the planet Earth. Currently, man has divorced himself from our precious Earth. We pride ourselves with the technology that we have, yet we are totally emotionally immature with the Earth. Where am I going with this? Imagine if man was in absolute harmony with the Earth. Can you imagine the wisdom that it has? It might tell you that your body is your drugstore. Every thought, whether positive or negative, secretes over 1,500 positive or negative chemicals. Currently, most of America is totally out of balance. Look at the problems today. I used to work for the USDA. I saw my friends taking up vaping. I couldn't believe how much smoke came out when they exhaled. It was at least 5 times the smoke from regular smoking. No wonder there is such an epidemic. Imagine there are drugs existing inside of you that are dormant. In order to receive them, you must be in balance and harmony. In each and every moment, we have the opportunity to be conscious and aware. Currently, we are playing the same tapes over and over again. I can guarantee you that these elixirs of life work better than any physical drugs. Your body has the intelligence to produce these for you. How many people listen to their bodies? How many people monitor their thoughts? How many people dive into silence? How many people monitor their actions? You see, there is a moment-by-moment conscious event. When we are unconscious, chaos exists. Look at the world around you. Does it seem to be in balance and harmony? The question is, do you want to change? Are you content with the current conditions? This isn't just Richard on a soapbox. I'm asking real questions. What do you think? You are your savior. Nobody's going to save you except yourself. All the scriptures point the way, but we must walk on this path. This human body is hardwired to find God within. We are on this incredible journey to discover our true nature. We are out of balance, and yet we can learn how to be in balance. These are exciting times. Millions of people are waking up.
Play with your chemistry kit. We are all playing with our own chemistry kits. Unfortunately, we aren't aware of it. Many people blow themselves up without realizing it. In each and every moment, thousands of chemicals are being released throughout your human body. Mankind is spinning out of control. We are drinking our own poison. We get angry at someone or a political point of view. In the meantime, we drink our angry poison. We then wonder why illness arrives on our doorsteps. The wise man understands the repercussions of negative thoughts and emotions. Moment by moment,
One plays this video game of life with awareness. One taps into the infinite ocean of love and compassion. This is our true home. My advice is learn how to change your own chemistry. Remember, you are the master chemist. Only you are playing with your chemistry kit. Ponder this over. This could make your life so much easier.
Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. These are called neural networks. The brain fires more electrical charges than all the cell phone calls in a day. That is a lot of activity going on. I would have loved to see the brain scan of a Buddha or Christ. Just think how incredible that would be. Years ago, I heard the Dalai Lama would research in his mind all the activities of his day. He would see in the mind's eyes areas where he could be more kinder and wiser in his actions. And at that time, I couldn't relate to it. Well, I sure do now. He was consciously reprogramming his neural networks and his subconscious mind. He didn't have to think about being kind. He trained the subconscious mind day in and day out to be kind. I once read where he said he had a major anger problem as a child. Yet today, it's hard to believe. There's no kinder man on the planet. This is a practical path. What kind of neural networks are you creating in your life? If you don't want to answer that question, then you are like a leaf blowing in the wind. Your subconscious mind is running your show. Nobody gets a free ride. Nobody changes until you change your energy. Nobody changes until you change your energy. We still live in a Newtonian world. We still are only conscious of the external world of matter. Therefore, we only see 1% of the light spectrum. You could say as human beings, we are extremely dense. For over a century, scientists have been studying the quantum field. Mystics have been studying this for thousands of years. They knew once you change your energy, you change. The mind is like a tuning fork. It vibrates at whatever frequency it touches. When the mind touches silence, it becomes silence. This is our true state of mind. In the East, our present state is called monkey mind. If you don't know what it means, do the following. Sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Just do that simple thing. You will see that the mind jumps from one branch to another. You can't stop it. I have a friend who gave up trying to meditate because he couldn't control his mind. To conquer your mind is the most difficult thing to do in the universe. Your body is your subconscious mind. The East has always known there is no demarcation point between the mind and body. Western scientists know that the subconscious mind exists inside of the body. Imagine that 95% of our actions come from our subconscious mind. That means only around 5% is conscious. Our bodies are trained to respond even faster than our conscious minds. It is built in that way. Yet, we are unaware of this fact. Consequently, our reactions stem from past events. It's like a computer going to a specific track and playing it over and over again. We respond to past events and we think it's a new one. We do this day in and day out. Over time, we put deeper grooves into the record of life. We build attitudes towards others. We mock people and flame others and think it's perfectly okay. We are intolerant of others. The list goes on and on. If we want to change this world, we must change ourselves. Nobody can do it for you. God will not do it for you. That's why it's called free will. Behaviors to match the intention. If you have an intention to change, don't you think your behavior should match your intention? You will never change if your behaviors don't change. One could go to church every Sunday and give an offering. Yet, if during the week you don't practice what you preach, life is an infinite series of modifying our behaviors. There will never be a moment when we clap our hands and say, I've learned all there is. If you ever say this, boy, do you have a grand lesson to learn. I can almost guarantee you life will throw you a curveball. The greater the intention, the greater one must modify his behaviors. One can't live one's life on autopilot. A proactive being is constantly modifying one's behavior for the better. You can't rest on your laurels. Every moment, we can always improve. How does that make you feel? A spiritual path is a practical path. One learns that in each and every moment, we can modify our behaviors for the better. We will stumble and fall, yet we will pick ourselves up and continue walking. We can smile through diversity. We can not have a care in the world. Your behaviors become your personality. Change your behaviors and you change your personality. Have you ever seen an unhappy Buddhist Lama? Have you ever seen an unhappy Lama? Is that an oxymoron? I'm sure that exists, but that's not the norm. In my eyes, the Buddhists are probably the happiest people on earth. Once again, one who's moment by moment conscious of discovering the jewel within obtains that state of mind. Whatever you pay attention to, you become. It's called the law of life. If you pay attention solely to your problems, you will have more problems come your way. If one is focused on happiness, happiness will come your way. It's so simple a concept, yet we were never taught this in school. Our true nature is compassion, happiness, and love. We have simply put clouds inside of us. Take away the clouds, and one will have a clearer vision. Automatically, the sun will shine inside of you. This is your true nature. The sun is always shining inside of you. That is your true state of being. I thought I'd laugh a lot when I'm speaking. Yesterday I talked to my dear friend Mark, and he told me I'm constantly laughing when I speak. Yet when I listened to Lama Glenn, it was off the charts. To be honest, it was incredible. He had the laughter of a child and the wisdom of a Lama. I could see all his early training with the Dalai Lama paid off. You are the company that you keep. No wonder the Buddhas are such funny and lovely people. Victim of your environment. I've said many times before, the spiritual path is the most practical path. What do I mean by this? We are all victims of our environment. We are like leaves blowing in the wind. When the environment is good, we are happy. When the environment changes, we become frustrated. Externally, everything changes. Nothing remains the same. Consequently, our happiness goes up and down. We try to hold on to our happiness for dear life. Consequently, we experience tremendous pain. Life will never go totally the way you want it. One may see the glass as half empty or half full. A wise man learns that inner happiness exists inside of him. Therefore, the world may change, yet one resides in the ocean of happiness inside. This has been known for thousands of years, yet it falls upon deaf ears. Isn't that ironic? What we've been searching for exists inside of each one of us. I find that sad at times. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Modify our behaviors, reprogram the mind. Just think, if you modify our behaviors, you reprogram the mind. What a difference that would make. It's not easy, yet it can be done. Just start slow. You will stumble and fall. That's part of life. Don't get hard on yourself. Pretend it's a game, because it is. Your life will change significantly when you do this. Your happiness is not dependent upon others. You can't blame anyone for your problems. There is a way out of this rabbit hole. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. No, it's not another freight train barreling your way. One who smiles at life is truly content. One has nothing to say or prove. You don't have to defend your position or try to convince anyone. The truth needs no convincing. Have you ever thought, if I just changed just one bad behavior, it would make my life easier? Simplicity is the key. Just look at a newborn baby drifting off to sleep. Nothing is more joyful watching that sweet smile appearing. This is your natural state. Are we headed in the right direction? Personally, I think we have three directions that we perform in each and every moment. One is to take a baby step forward towards your goal. Two is to be on a constant treadmill and go nowhere. Three is to progress backwards. The Jains, Buddhists, and the ancient yogis all talked about this. The Jains and the ancient yogis have the same identical systems. I would imagine the Tibetan Buddhists would have something similar or identical to the ancient yogis. Their system was started in India. Note how similar both are. One needs to embrace the tree of life to progress on this path. The 8 Buddhist practice, the Noble Eightfold Path, are right view. Our actions have consequences. Death is not the end, and our actions and beliefs have consequences after death. The Buddha followed and taught a successful path out of this world and the other world, heaven and underworld, hell. Later on, right view came to explicitly include karma and rebirth and the importance of the Four Noble Truths when insight becomes central to Buddhist soteriology. Right resolve or intention, the giving up of home and adopting the life of a religious mendicant in order to follow the truth. This concept aims at peaceful renunciation into an environment of non-sensuality, non-ill will to loving kindness, away from cruelty to compassion. Such an environment aids contemplation of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Right speech, no lying, no rude language, no telling one person what another says about him to cause discord or harm the relationship. Right conduct or action, no killing or injuring, no taking what is not given, no sexual acts, no material desires. Right livelihood, beg to feed, only possessing what is essential to sustain life. Right effort, preventing the arisings of unwholesome states and generating wholesome states. The 7 factors of awakening. This includes guarding the sense doors, restraint of the sense faculties, right mindfulness, retention, being mindful of the Dharma teachings that are beneficial to the Buddhist path. In the Vipassana movement, sati is interpreted as bare attention, never be absent-minded, being conscious of what one is doing. This encourages the awareness of the impermanence of body, feeling, and mind, as well as to experience the 5 aggregates, the 5 hindrances, the 4 true realities, and 7 factors of awakening. Right samadhi. Practicing 4 stages of dhyana meditation, which includes samadhi power in the 2nd stage and reinforces the development of the bodhidharma, complementing into equanimity and mindfulness. In the Theravada tradition and the Vipassana movement, this is interpreted as ekaggata, concentration of one's pointedness of the mind, and supplemented with Vipassana meditation, which aims at insight. The 8 limbs on the tree of life. This journey of self-discovery is infinite. It's like peeling an onion. There are infinite layers to this onion. A person can never clap your hands and say, "I've mastered it all." Our whole sense of understanding the world around us has been changed. The journey is going from a reactive state to a proactive state, going from the hurricane state of the mind to absolute silence. This takes time and patience. You see, darkness is the flip side of the coin of light. You can walk into a room when it's dark, flip on the switch, and the lights will turn on. In the same manner, you can walk into a room where there is light, and then turn off the lights, and darkness will occur. Darkness is simply the absence of light. In both examples, you decide whether darkness or light will manifest in the room. The same goes for your life. Most of us are unconscious, therefore we don't make proper decisions. We live on automatic pilot. So we have our ups and downs in life. Nothing is stable. We spend our lives not wanting to change, even if it means for us to have miserable lives. We don't know that we can climb out of the hole that we have dug. This is the state of mind today. We don't ask questions about life. Even during the shutdown, when Mother Nature is sending us to our rooms, we aren't asking questions like why. We are so busy and bored to get back to our everyday life. The 8 limbs represents the tree of life and how we can be in harmony with it. Over time, one discovers one is a scientist, psychologist, dreamer, mystic, lover, and being practical. One learns to have the feet on the ground and your head in heaven. Patanjali set out his definition of yoga in the Yoga Sutras as having 8 limbs as follows. The 8 limbs of yoga are abstinence, observance, yoga postures, breath control, withdrawal of the senses, concentration, meditation, and samadhi, absorption. Imagine a doctor prescribing a program that will heal you in your body, mind, and soul. Note, the doctor does not heal you. You heal yourself. In the last 50 years, yoga has been mainstream in America. When I first started practicing yoga in 1971, we were considered a weirdo to practice yoga. Yoga posture is only one limb on the tree. This is a living tree. You are a living tree. So many benefits occur just by practicing yoga postures. People's health and state of mind have been drastically improved just by doing these. Note, practicing yoga postures is only one limb on the tree of life. We will talk about the various limbs in separate chapters.
I once had a grand teacher who said, meditation is perfect concentration upon a perfect point. How elegantly said. Imagine the mind is like a tuning fork. Whatever it touches, it vibrates at that frequency. Have you ever felt that material happiness is finite? Imagine the car you've always dreamed of, a yellow Ferrari. In the beginning, it brings you so much joy. You take all your friends around the block for a spin. Day and night, you are satisfied. One day, you notice that a little dissatisfaction has entered your door. Day by day, your yellow Ferrari becomes a hassle. How many times to the shop? I need an oil change. My brakes need changing. The transmission just went out. Everything material wears out. Material happiness will soon lead to pain. Does this mean we can't enjoy the comforts of life? Do we have to live a life of a hermit? How can we live in this world and live in absolute joy? Meditation brings the individual to the center of the hurricane. The winds of change are blowing, yet perfect calm resides inside. This is your true state. Absolute joy, total bliss. Your mind is vibrating with the word of life.
How would you like the Dalai Lama to be your grandparent? I love Lama Glen's story about spending time in India, going to the first Dalai Lama school. It was so intimate and endearing. Glenn said the Dalai Lama treated each one like a grandson. That's an incredible state of being. So much attention was placed on them. I love the story when Glenn asked why the Dalai Lama never went to the United States. He was told his visa was always denied. Lama Glenn had a father-in-law who checked out this rumor, and lo and behold, he never requested a visa. To make a long story short, he was told how to apply and get approval. He was told, don't go through the Tibetan government channel. He was told that during the 50s, the CIA was involved in Tibet. If the CIA got wind he was applying for a visa, they would have stopped the process. That's how the Dalai Lama first came to the States. Dreams. The following is part of an article by Yogananda called Life is a Dream. Life is a cosmic movie projected within the screen of consciousness. I look at the beam of God's light, which is projecting these scenes on the streets of light, consciousness. I see the pictures of the whole universe coming from this beam. Another time I was sitting in a movie theater watching a movie on a screen, and then I looked into the projection booth. I saw that projectionist was not interested in the movie because he had seen it over and over again. Instead, he was reading a book. The projector was doing its job. There was the sound, and the beam of light was casting realistic images on the screen. And there was the audience, caught up in the drama. From age to age, from civilization to civilization, the same old movies are shown over and over again, only with different characters playing the parts. When I took my gaze from the light of the projector and looked at the audience in the movie theater, I saw that they were going through all the emotions of the actors in the movie. They were suffering with the hero and reacting to the evil of the villain. To the audience, it was a tragic experience. To the operator in the projection booth, it was only a movie. And so it is with God. He has created, imagine, movies of light and shadows, the hero and the villain, good and evil, and we are the audience and the actors. It is only because we identify with the play too much as being real that we are in trouble. Without shadows as well as light constructs, there could be no picture. Evil is the shadow that converts the one beam of God's light into pictures or forms. Therefore, evil, contrasting with good, is the shadow of God that makes this play possible. The dark shadows of evil are mixed with the pure white beams of the virtues of God. He wants you not to take these pictures so seriously. Here's what I have so far about the various dream states. Daydreaming, dreaming at night, life is a cosmic dream, living a dream or a nightmare, illusions, what you see might not be real, the cosmic dream, lucid dreaming, dreaming to accomplish goals, piercing the dream to see the dream fade away and see only the crystal light, brain chemistry dreams, advanced cosmic dreams. For the past 2 years, I've been consciously paying attention to the whole sleep cycle. I'm in a meditative state, watching myself, somehow going from that conscious state. I haven't watched that transition yet. Many times when I'm in a dream state, I see the dream dissolving in the crystal clear light state. This has happened quite frequently, where I'm aware that behind our dreams lies the essence of all that is. Recently, when I'm in a meditative state engulfed in light, the whole scene collapses and time and space is suspended. It is quite surreal. I see that time and space as a construct, yet there's something even beyond that. My motto lately is the more you pay attention to something, the more attention pays to you. When I sleep, I try to meditate at the same time. Slowly, slowly, one can learn how to be in a sleep state and be conscious and aware of the inner jewel. One's body can be in a sleep state, while at the same time, one can be in a state of bathing in light and bliss. I'm looking forward to learning more about the dream work the Tibetans do. Here's the essence I got from Lama's Glen's YouTube video. Going to sleep in Buddhism is like dying every day. One goes back to the source and returns to everyday life. Usually, this is unconscious. Death is returning back to the source, and only the body dies. I call this going into a different room in the mansion of life. Glenn told a story about listening to classic music in his classroom. He had an out-of-body experience going to heaven. Angels were all around. He heard the laughter of angels. At some point, a kid was poking Glenn in the stomach and woke him up. All the kids were laughing in the class. To the kids, he just fell asleep smiling. Glenn was swept to the heavenly realm. Ramakrishna said the external beauty would help trigger him into ecstatic levels of consciousness. Glenn says, I wasn't with the angels. I was making a fool of myself in front of my fellow students. Yet, he did get transported into the heavenly realms. Sometimes our external stimuli will help trigger a divine experience. The Buddhists say that parents don't choose us. We choose our parents. Set the tone of the conversation. Ring, 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 ring. It's around 2:30 in the morning. I pick up the phone and wonder, who is calling me at this hour? It's my friend Mark. We somehow get into discussion of why there's so much dysfunction in our communications today. Out of the blue, Mark said, the tone is what sets the conversation. Bingo, lights go on, jackpot. A person might have great wisdom with something to say, yet the tone sets the conversation. If the tone is derogatory, the greatest message in the world will never be received. It will be rejected. The tone is the demarcation point of the conversation. If one's tone is of love and compassion, true communication will take place. If one has an angry tone, right off the bat, one misses the mark. Both sides are drowning. Discrimination and wisdom are nowhere to be found. I could have set up the tone of the conversation with Mark with the following. Old school. What the blank 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 are you calling me at this hour? New school. Synchronicity is in the air. Let's see the lotus flower blossom. With divine grace came the answer. The tone is what sets the conversation. Simple. We don't learn that in our schools. Hey Mark, I'm still learning about snippets of wisdom. Just wing it. Sometimes in life, you just have to wing it. Lama Glenn told a great story about when he had to translate a book from Tibetan to English. This was in the early 70s. He had only learned Tibetan only a few years earlier. Yet the Lama that gave him the assignment said, "Just wing it. In the future, someone will take your work and expound on it." He said, "This has been the way. Nobody is perfect. Yet if you put your heart and soul into it, this will be reflected in your translation. The tone is the most important message, not the words." The Dalai Lama doesn't speak perfect English, yet his smile lights up the world. Tumo and Tantra. Over 40 years ago, I heard about this ancient practice. There would be stories with pictures of Buddhists sitting in the snow with wet sheets around them, and they would completely dry them off. The first thing that came to my mind was, why not just use a dryer? It would take no more than 30 minutes to dry. There are an infinite amount of powers that one can acquire along the way. I thought, how would it be if they used the power of compassion to do this? Years later, after listening to Lama Glenn, I understood that the foundation of Tumo is compassion. In fact, to evolve as human beings, compassion is the essence. Lama Glenn explained in his 2-hour seminar many things that helped me refine my understanding of Tibetan Buddhism. My vision and understanding were greatly magnified. I look back at how my life has been in sync with the Buddha. Our house is like a Buddhist temple. We have Buddhist statues, Kuan Yin statues scattered throughout the house. My spiritual practice follows the ancient guidelines that Buddha taught about. Lama Glenn helped me to understand the experiences I have had for the past 50 years and translate them into the Buddhist understanding. Mind you, this is only by listening to a 2-hour seminar. Lama Glenn is going to present a 16-week course on this subject. I already got my money's worth just by his YouTube seminar. According to Milarepa, Tumo is the basic for the 6 yogas. The 6 yogas are Tumo, illusionary body, clear light, dream yoga, Bardo yoga, and Pova. The Buddhists have a book called Crystal Clear. I read this book around 2001. Crystal clear is a state of utter formlessness. It is how to bring infinite radiance, stillness, and formlessness into everyday life. My understanding of crystal clear is probably the merging of Buddhist thought and the current understanding of the quantum field. Both are talking about the same thing. Read some of my books and you will see this theme presented in many ways. Lama Glenn said that the human experiences the essence of Tantra in 3 ways naturally. Every night when we go to sleep, one who is aware can capture a snapshot of the clear primordial mind. Making love is another way. The orgasm can lead to clear light radiance if one is aware. Meditation is another way. All 3 can be awakened within oneself. When one is sitting on the meditation cushion, when one goes to sleep, called clear light asleep yoga. The last is the clear light of death when one dies. These states are the fallen, awake, dreaming, and death. Tumo is the basic for the meditation practice. It brings infinite radiance, stillness, and formless into everyday life. The ultimate state is lucid, non-physicality, a clear mind, clear sight. Glenn says there is an infinite me, yet all forms disappear. According to Lama Glenn, one learns how to lean towards form in everyday life and at the same time lead to the elusive non-physicality, clear mind, clear sight. The Kabbalistic calls these states feet on the ground and the head in heaven. One can sit and meditate and only have the 5 inner senses activate when one enters the clear mind, clear light state. Coming back to the internal senses, one activates the external senses. The goal is to harmonize the two. The philosophy of Tantra says we exist simultaneously on 3 dimensions: coarse, subtle, and very subtle. Ordinary life is coarse. It consists of our minds and bodies. Everyday life is a part of this. External stimuli create internal experiences in the brain. At the coarse level, everything is experienced in duality. When one tries to meditate for the first time, one brings to the table a coarse mind, a mind that has been conditioned externally. Our body and state of mind creates various chemicals to reflect our state of being. The Buddhists have known this for thousands of years. Only recently has Western scientists embraced this concept and proven it over and over again. Dr. Joe Dispenza is at the forefront of this. The Dalai Lama has each year a conference with scientists from all around the world. This has been going on since the 80s. They have been studying the mind-body connection in the lab ever since. These are called by the Buddhists psychoneurology immune systems. Behind this loud noise lies the subtle body. Our minds and bodies are like tuning forks. We only vibrate at the frequency, the current state of mind and body. Here's an example of being out of balance. In my junior year, my parents took our family to Yosemite. It's probably one of the most incredible places on the planet. Yet I couldn't see the forest from the trees. I was miserable. Why? Because I missed the ocean. Now that is being out of balance. One can be in a heavenly place, and the subtle mind can be out of whack and cause suffering due to the state of mind. Your mental state creates the emotional state of your being. These disturbances are felt in the heart and thyroid. This is called subtle chemistry. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind are the two which control the chemistry. Remember, the subconscious mind controls 95% of our actions. Only 5% is conscious. I find it interesting that Carl Jung was familiar with Buddhist philosophy. I'm sure that much of his understanding came from that. Lama Glenn also believes in this. When one can stop the heart consciously and stop the physical functions, one enters the state of the timeless zone. The Buddhists are trained in breath retention. Tumo is the process of holding your breath and sending it to the heart. Then pure alchemy occurs and the higher chemicals are secreted into the body. According to Lama Glenn, by bringing all the energies to the heart, we become like a one-cell being. Arising from that brings the most subtle mind to be activated. Most of humanity lives in dense bodies. Need I say more? Look at the world today. Furthermore, Lama Glenn said, don't believe anything externally that's in the shape of an outside appearance. It's all illusionary. The biggest obstacles is to overcome the attachment to the ordinary appearance of things. This is called Maya, the great illusion. Talk to a quantum scientist and they will tell you about the quantum field. This has been proven over 100 years ago, yet we still live in the Newtonian model. At the next level, we try to manipulate these drops of chemicals to our advantage. In the beginning, we worked with the 4 principal chakras: the navel chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, and the center of the brain chakra. These chakras help speed up the evolutional process. The Tantra states that one day of meditating in this state is equivalent to 100 years of normal evolution. Paramahansa Yogananda said the same thing with Kriya Yoga. Anyway, there are scientific practices that can speed up this practice. The basic of the Tantra practice is to go from gross mind to the subtle mind, and ultimately to the very subtle mind. Tumo, illusionary body, and clear light is the process to take you from the gross, subtle, and very subtle bodies. One achieves enlightenment by these 3 practices of yoga. Tumo energy always starts with physical exercises. There are 6 main exercises. First one is similar to pranayama. They do this because most humans are shallow breathers. The purpose is to harmonize the male and female energies. This is the same concept of harmonizing the Ida and the Pingala nerves. These breathing exercises are done 3 times. When you do this, both nostrils should be balanced. If not, repeat the 3 rounds. Note for further explanation on taking the class. One should always do this before doing Tumo. During Tumo, one day does fast breathing through the nose. According to Lama Glen's instructions, breathe in through the nose, swallow if you want. This will put the abdomen in the correct position. Hold for 45 seconds, relax, and slowly exhale the breath through the nostrils. Do this for around 10 minutes. Then do the same by rotating your abdomen clockwise and counterclockwise 3 times each. This is vitalizing your external organs. You're rotating the entire solar plexus regions. Do this without moving your backbone or shoulders. Remember to press down and pull up. This massages the gallbladder, pancreas, kidneys, and other vital organs. It is very good for digestion. Do the same, but push the stomach out and in. This is arising the fire energies. It also helps with the internal organs. No, don't read this book and try to do the exercises. You must learn from a qualified teacher. I'm just a mere beginner like you. Tumo means fierce woman. The digestive system is the system of the fire element. Did you know that there's a junction box with 72,000 nadis or energy channels that are wired there? It's not physical, yet it's real. Someday in the future, scientists will develop instruments which shows this. The acupuncturists of today know about this, along with the Taoists, yogis, lamas, and Jains. In Tantra, sexual energy is the purest and primitive energy. Our brain energies are the most impure because of the condition of our external stimuli, state of mind, and body. According to Lama Glen, by rising this sexual energy, our neural system is heightened by this pure energy. There are 108 exercises, but only 6 are needed. Lama Glen's favorite exercises is look at 1:48:51 in the YouTube video. This is somewhat complicated. It just needs daily practice. One of my favorite expressions is, you are the universe. You just don't know it. What a powerful expression. Does that excite you at all? We are so much grander than what we think. Most people would probably say, I don't believe it. I've been meditating for many moons. In fact, since day one, I love to meditate. My intuition tells me this is true. Wherever I go, this experience goes with me. In the beginning, I would meditate on God. After some point in time, God meditates on me. That same energy that is made up of the universe lies inside of me, and I'm aware of that. That energy is pure kindness. The energy is pure love and compassion. This energy is our true nature. You see, we don't die. We are eternal. Our bodies will die, and we will live forever. Meditation is the link between man and the universe. Imagine having a URL to God. If you don't have that URL, you can't go to that website. But if you enter that proper URL in your browser and hit enter, presto, you're at that site. Meditation is the URL that you enter into the browser of life. Mind you, this web page is always changing. It's not a static site. All the knowledge of the universe lies there. But to tell you the truth, the main key is to transform yourself and become a better person. It's like taking a shower. This is not some ordinary shower. This is a shower of kindness. This is a shower of love and compassion. This is a shower of patience. Slowly, one transforms. One begins to pull the negative weeds within. Weeds such as anger, greed, war, and on and on and on. Nobody gets a free ride in life. Everybody is responsible for their actions. We must be conscious and aware every moment of our life. Life is like a video game. At each level you play the game, it becomes more interesting and exciting. Imagine life throws you a curveball. Someone says something to which you don't agree with. We see this all the time. Just look at people flaming each other on Facebook. Now think that in this video game of life, the picture throws a curveball your way to see how you will react. If you react and flame someone, you get a strike. If you don't react and simply smile with kindness, you hit the ball out of the park. You then go to the next level in the game of life. This person loves to play the video game and is aware of the steps he takes day in and day out. We have never been trained in this game. We have never been taught that this video game of life exists inside of ourselves. We just constantly react to situations. We are like a ship without a rudder. The goal of this video game is to become like the universe. The universe is kind. The universe is love and compassion. The universe doesn't judge us. The universe doesn't say, look at how many strikes are against us. The universe says, you have free will, so why judge? Yet this video game of life provides all the necessary levels where you know this is a divine game. Bugs Bunny once said, don't take life so seriously that you will never get out of it alive. I like that. Don't take life so seriously. Be like the sun in the sky. Just shine. Don't react to every situation. Yet when dear old Bugs said you would never get out alive, the great video masters of old have a different story. They said you could be aware of your true nature while you are alive. Big difference. Once, when I was young, I was scared to death of dying. I was told when you die that you simply vanish and never become aware again. I didn't like that story, so I spent many moons in pursuing this answer. To be frank, I still don't want to die. I love this place. Yet, in my experience, I'm bringing heaven down to earth. Heaven lies inside of us. It's not a place we go to. Heaven is a state of mind. Depending on how we are proactive and aware, or simply reacting in this video game of life, will correspond to our state of mind. People ask me why I love the Eastern thought. Well, for one, the Buddhists have been talking about a crystal clear mind for over 3,000 years. In the West, it was only since the mid-80s that universities give a class on subjects like happiness. The Buddhists have been talking about this since day one. I'm not saying you have to be a Buddhist. I'm not. I adore all religions. There is a thread which ties all religions together. It is the thread of love. I'm just saying that in the West, we need to become more aware of this video game of life. The world needs us to step up and consciously be aware and play this game with a sense of knowingness. For example, it's a little dangerous in this video game of life when our president tweets at 3 o'clock in the morning. He ridiculed little rocket man. My button is bigger than your button. These kinds of words can lead to nuclear war. Our words and actions can either bring heaven to earth or modern day hell. Just take a look around the world today. We need to be aware, and as my friend Bill Cunningham told me, we need more respect in this world. Personally, we are all in the same boat together. We either sink or swim. We need to be more tolerant, kind, and respectful of each other. Mankind needs to be a kind man. That's the most difficult thing in life. Look at all the conflicts and wars around the world. It's so easy to flare up with anger. It's so easy to put gasoline on the fire. Yet to act with kindness in the face of adversity is the most difficult thing to do. We are all a piece of the puzzle in life. Stop the noise in your head. As the children began to learn how to meditate, they saw how powerful the mind is. They never noticed that before. They asked the dragons how to stop the noise in my head. Of course, all the dragons laughed. They laugh because everyone goes through this. You see, the mind is the most difficult thing to control in the universe. The majority of man reacts to every situation. Man is reacting. The wise man learns to be proactive. They understand the basic law. It's my will alone. I set my mind in motion. Now, that's very easy to say, but hard to do. All people who learn how to meditate in the beginning have this problem. In the East, they call it monkey mind. The monkey goes from one branch to another. It can't be controlled. Well, when they first started to learn how to meditate, they clearly saw this from first-hand experience. The dragons told a wonderful story each time this subject was brought up. They told a story where a man saves a genie. Nobody knows exactly how this man saved him. Well, the genie told this man, you can have as many wishes as you want. The man said, wow, that's incredible. I love that idea. The genie said, well, there's a catch. The man said, what's that? You must always give one wish after another. If you don't, I will chop your head off with a sword. Are you sure you want to continue with this? The man hesitates for a moment and says, reluctant, sure. Well, the genie said, what's your first wish? The man gives one wish after another. It seems like when one wish is granted, he has to give another. He didn't even have one opportunity to enjoy, even for a second, the previous wish. He was getting tired and couldn't even go to sleep. The genie was always harassing him and saying, "What's your next wish?" Well, fortunately, there was a wise man nearby. He went to the wise man and sincerely asked for help. This boon was turning into a curse. The wise man whispered into his ear, "Well, the genie demanded another wish, or he would chop off his head." The young man said, "Go to the forest and find a huge log. Your wish is my command." In a second he returned with a huge log. The genie said with a smile, "Give me a wish, I will chop off your head." As you can see, the genie wasn't particularly nice, so the young man told the genie to go up and down the pole. "When I need you, I will give you another command." The young man could relax and enjoy all the wishes he gave to the genie. The genie knew he was outsmarted by this wise man. The young boy enjoyed his life and helped others in the community. He eventually learned about the dragons and helped tremendously his fellow man. The dragons said that the genie is the mind. The mind wants to control you versus the other way around. By placing your mind on your breath, the genie will go up and down the log and set you free. Meditation is the key to bring awareness to your mind. The mind is either your friend or foe. Everyone in the universe has to learn how to control the mind.
One day, I was meditating when I had this beautiful experience. I was taken to this place where I saw one of my past lives a long time ago on a planet called Malada. Here was this beautiful child playing with other children. There was so much love and harmony in the air. Our bodies were a little bit like Casper, the friendly ghost. We had huge gold eyes. We were playing this beautiful game. Each child was creating this beautiful music in the sky with their hands. They would just do a swish of the hands, and this beautiful rainbow would appear in the sky. Not only a rainbow would appear, but music would accompany the rainbow. The fun part was that each child's rainbow would be a part of the greater whole. The end result would be an orchestra of music and rainbows playing in perfect harmony. We'd all just dance and laugh and giggle. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My sister was Catherine, a dear friend of mine. Life was so full of harmony. I was shown something ominous was going to happen to this planet. My next reflection, I remember, was the planet was being destroyed, and somehow I was placed in this ship headed to Earth. Such a tremendous shock took place that each of us were induced into a timeless sleep. We were heading towards Earth, towards a land called Egypt. The next vision I had was I was a being from another dimension, helping to bring the vision of enlightenment to Egypt. Because I came from Maladic, my body wasn't Earth-like. I had the ability to become one with the whole universe and still be conscious at the same time like a limited body. The pyramids were built at this time around a great being named Rataben. He was an incredible being who rescued us from Maladic. Rataben and I were great friends together. We would laugh and play throughout the universe. We knew we were totally free. My mission that time was to teach the people in the pyramids the fundamental aspect of transcending this body. There is a way for the human consciousness to vibrate at such a level that this body will become light and enter a universal dimension. In this state, the human consciousness becomes universal consciousness. Through a period of time, man can learn the secret of life. Each one of us has this capability. We have simply forgot this. This is 34,000 years ago. Years later, I met my friend Rataben through a channel named Amachi. Amachi brought in a beautiful entity named Mafu. Mafu or Rotterdam is a being much grander than we can imagine. He is bringing wisdom to this planet which is never seen before. I am simply watching this incredible game being played out. Each one of us can partake in this and see for ourselves the grandness of this game. Vision soon ended. I remember at one retreat I went to see Mafu. At this particular retreat, Mafu was pairing up couples for a meditation he wanted us to do. Mafu placed me with this middle-aged lady. I knew there was a reason behind this. During the meditation, I had this incredible vision that this lady was my mother or relative. Tears of joy was flowing. Both of us recognized who we truly were. Mother and son were reunited once again. The reason I really love Mafu is that I now have a friend from the other side to assist me in my own personal development. We all have such incredible coaches. We have to do the work in this game. We all have to be participants. We can't be at the sidelines. The coach will inspire us and direct us, but we have to shoot the ball. One day, after coming from work from the naval base, I closed my eyes and was carried to this particular pool on this planet named Haruna. This particular pool was nice and warm. This planet reminded me a lot like Sedona, Arizona. The planet soil was the same, red like earth. I remember a few beings in the water. The water felt so incredible. Stress would just ooze off. Amaji was there with a few other beings. I felt like my soul was completely nourished. Since that time, I've heard Amaji talk about the sands of Haruna. I never told her about this story. The experience was so incredible. It was working on such a deep level. When I came back, I felt so fresh and alive. I felt I truly bathed in the fountain of youth. The first time I went to Sedona, I was in Phoenix for a 4-day retreat. After the retreat, 3 good friends of mine decided to go to Sedona for the day. I've heard a lot about this place. It's so beautiful driving there. It takes about 1.5 hours from Phoenix. Sedona is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. The red rocks in the midst of the desert mountains is a sight to behold. We spent the day at Bell Rock, a huge rock shaped like Bell. I went back to the Palisades in California the next day. A week later, I get this call from my good friend David. He asked me if I wanted to move to Sedona. He was asked by Mafu to do some design work for a pyramid project. They needed a programmer and someone who knew about computers. I was on my way. I moved into a real neat trailer right by the Oak Creek. This trailer park was very serene. I never saw such a beautiful place to live. Right in my backyard was this incredible creek that ran by. I could hear the water running while I was in my house. My days in Sedona was spent working and hiking. Sedona was an incredible place to hike. There were plenty of trails. I remember one experience I had in Bell Rock. I was halfway up the rocks when all of a sudden I could see through to another dimension. As clear as day, I saw an ocean and whales and dolphins playing in the ocean. It was amazing. Here was in the desert on this huge bell-shaped rock. In the midst of this, I could see this incredible ocean. It wasn't a hallucination. I could actually see this dimension and the other dimension. I remember hearing about Stephen Hawking's theory of there are 10 dimensions in the universe. He proves his theory mathematically. The red rocks around Sedona is made of finely crushed crystals. Crystals are made of silica. Our brains contain a huge amount of silica. Could it be that this area allows a person to see dimensions that usually we can't feel? It was so amazing to feel right at home in this ocean. I remember this huge whale came up to me and I just gently caressed it with my hands. It reminded me almost like Roger Rabbit. There was the so-called real world and there was another cartoon world. Both worlds existed. I had a wonderful summer in Sedona. My daughter Chandra came out for the summer, and we just played. We had a great time. Both of us are very close. Let me introduce Zoran. Zoran is an entity who is known in other dimensions as logos. Logos on this planet comes from the Greek word which means word or power. The Bible talks about logos as the word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Zoran was the personification of that word. The first time I met him was in Phoenix, Arizona. A few of my friends saw him and said I might like to see him. They said he was real different and liked to teach with toes. Zoran is channeled by Makar. When he comes into her body, he takes over much like Mafu. Anyway, we arrived late to the hall. I see the program is starting. From the loudspeaker, I hear a voice which sounds like Mafu. I'm thrown for a loop and ask myself, why is Mafu's tape being broadcasted through the sound system? I sit down and see that this voice is actually Zoran. I love the way Zoran was. His whole teaching was through games and laughter. He had all these stuffed toys that he would hand out. At one part of the program, he started to pull out people from the audience. He pulled me out and gave me an orange ball. He then proceeded to ask each one of us what this toy meant to you. When it came to me, he asked me about the orange ball he gave me. I told him that orange represents collagen, the substance which ties the cells together. Without collagen, the cells would fall apart. This ball represents a life force which keeps the entire universe together, otherwise it would fall apart. He just laughed and blinked his eyes and said, "Good answer." That night, I was very intrigued by Zoran. I knew that we were best of friends. I wanted to talk to him personally. The following day, a meeting was arranged. The first part of the meeting was spent in such laughter. People outside of rooms, it was like an auditory of people laughing. There was only 3 of us. At one point, Zoran said, "If I laugh anymore, we'll have to leave this physical body. It will cause damage to her body." At this time, the tone became more serious. I learned I was a student of his at a planet called Newton. This school was learning about the ways to split open the atom using one's mind. The school was built on practical experience. It was truly a mystery school. Makar and I were both students in this school. Zoran told me many wonderful things. We became real good friends. At one of the seminars, he had always called me. I became a friend just like the good old days. I remember one day he asked me, "What do you think about women?" Why, I said, "I want to solve that mystery." He said that someone special was going to happen and that very soon I would meet the woman of my dreams. The next day, I had a dream where I met my future wife, Barbara. A voice came to her and said, "When you meet this person, you should get to know them." A month later, I was staying at a friend's house and Barbara walked into the house. I recognized her at once. I played it quite cool because I knew that destiny would be played out. The rest is history. Zoran taught me a lot of techniques of getting in touch with myself. His whole style was through laughter. He said that laughter and joy create such a frequency that it sinks in subconsciously. He had a great analogy that when you go to the bathroom, you don't inspect your stools. He said so many people struggle to reach happiness. Life is not a struggle. Life is not a battle. Life is fun and humorous. I never laughed as much as with Zoran. He taught me a new angle on life. One night in Sedona, I was with 3 of my friends. We were outside looking at the stars in lawn chairs. It was early July. It was a nice evening. The sky was perfectly clear. There were thousands of stars in the sky. We were looking at a strange phenomena taking place. We would see these streaks of light going vertical in the sky. Imagine a huge flashlight sending a flashing light from left to right across the sky. It would come in 1-minute intervals. All of us were delighted in the show. we were making the same oohs and ahs when kids see fireworks. In the midst of a lull, I noticed 3 stars in the sky I never noticed before. These 3 stars formed a triangle in the star. It looked like a pyramid. All of a sudden, I felt myself being sucked out of my body. It was like this huge vacuum sucking me out and out of in my body. There was this tunnel of light. I was traveling inside of this tunnel. We all have seen on Star Trek, The Next Generation, the sensation of warp speed. This is the same kind of sensation that I felt. The next thing I knew, I saw this huge mothership. This ship was so large that there were mountains, oceans, and Earth-like planets inside of this ship. I was greeted by a group of 12 beings. I recognized Saran and Lord Michael. They took me on the tour of the ship. The whole ship had a clear plastic-like substance, which was the outer shell. Inside of this were the mountains. The main engine room was driven by energy itself. They had the technology to convert energy itself to drive the whole ship. All electricity was generated by pure and perfect energy. There was no pollution whatsoever. It's hard to put in words what I was going through and what I saw. It was so beautiful. These beings were so beautiful. They were friendly and extremely intelligent. Their technology was light years ahead of us. At one point, I was placed on this beautiful table. Zoran, Lord Michael, and the rest of the 12 beings placed their hands in my body and started to send me brilliant colors of light. My whole body was enveloped in a rainbow of light. This light was pure consciousness. It was alive, if extremely blissful. I felt all the stress being taken out of my body. It was an incredible ceremony taking place. No words were spoken. There were 12 incredible beings performing an ancient ceremony on me. I felt they were once again reminding me that we are all come from the same source of life. There is a universal consortium of beings who are called the White Brotherhood, whose mission is to transform this universe into something far beyond what we can imagine. There are millions of humans alive on this planet who are part of this consortium. Before we were born, we all decided to come down and help this planet Earth. All the major religions now know that something incredible is about to happen to this planet and the beings on this wonderful Earth. We are to usher in this era along with our friends. Our weapons are simply love itself. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Our mission is to consciously change ourselves to bring beings of love. Christ was a prime example of this. We all have the same capacity. We just have to stop, look, and listen to what's going on. Here's the most incredible event that's taking place on this planet, and we are asleep. We are too involved in our little lives to stop just for 1 second and ask some basic questions. Who am I? What is the purpose of this life? Where is true happiness? I feel as a society we need to learn about tolerance, forgiveness, and being open-minded. Each of us are so caught up in our own mindset that we can't see that we are flowers on a beautiful garland called life. Isn't it so beautiful that we are all so different, yet all of us at the same time are so similar? The breath of life is keeping us alive, and we are unconscious of this fact. It's time to wake up and smell the roses. Each one of us have to have this experience to remind ourselves to wake up either consciously or subconsciously, even if you don't believe in any of this. Imagine that this is all make-believe. There was a time that flying an airplane was make-believe. It is now reality. There are millions of people on this planet whose prayers are to see peace on this planet. In time, this will have to happen. We just have to bring peace to ourselves. We have to know who we truly are. We are beings of love. We have simply forgot who we are. It is time as a whole that we wake up. It's kind of funny the whole world wants peace and happiness, yet there's so much misery and poverty and grief. The love we have inside is boundless and endless. It is worth more than all the riches in the whole universe. Without it, we are nothing. I know I had many incredible experiences in my life. Many people are envious of them, yet without love, they mean nothing. It's like a body without the breath, no life whatsoever. Our main mission is to be filled with love, that whenever we touch, it turns to love. What would happen to this planet if every citizen on this planet was experiencing such a love? We would have no conflict, war, or poverty on this planet. We would truly help each other out. We would truly know that human beings are incredible beings. Well, I came back and my friends knew that something incredible had happened to me. I told them just a fraction of what happened to me. It was all so personal that I didn't want to blah out or be arrogant. Years later, I felt the time was right to put the experience in words. The incident showed me that my friends beyond the stars were always looking after me in this planet. I knew my days as a young child looking at the stars was based upon an unconscious yet conscious connection with my friends. We are never alone. We have friends who are looking after us. Most of the time, we don't know that. On Raji's 14th birthday, on December 10, 1972, a huge party was held in Premnagar Ashram in India. For some reason, I came as the Blue Meanie. At that time, I didn't know why I chose that. I didn't like that character in the Yellow Submarine at all. Years later, I had this dream where I was the Blue Meanie in the Yellow Submarine. I felt this incredible energy of love fill me up. All of a sudden, this Blue Meanie became 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 265, 512, 1012, and so on to infinity. This happened in less than a fraction of a second. My whole consciousness was in the infinite ocean of Blue Meanies. The whole sea was love itself. Each Blue Meanie was separate, yet tied together by the ocean of love. I felt a power more powerful than a nuclear power plant surging through me. Just the power of love flowing through me. I became the universe. Every part of creation was an aspect of this consciousness. I knew and experienced everything on this planet and all other universes. I was one. The fact that this dream lasted a long time. I felt so fortunate to be reminded who we really are. Life will teach us in such a beautiful manner. Many experiences we don't seem to care about or nor will be using it further for a greater purpose. One day in Arizona, I had this incredible vivid dream. I dreamt that Sai Baba was sick. For those of you who don't know, Sai Baba is a great Indian saint. He has the ability to manifest jewels from his hands. He has millions of followers in the world. Sai Baba was very sick in my dream. There were a lot of people around him in my dream. He came up to me and said, "Only you can heal me." As soon as he said that, I felt a tremendous energy flowing from within my being. I placed my hands toward him, and he started to send energy inside of his body. His whole body was shaking. After a few moments, he was healed. The love that was flowing between us was incredible. I felt this incredible wave of love flowing into me. My whole being was saturated with this experience. It was more than a dream. I really can't put that experience in words, but it was absolutely incredible. About 3 months earlier, I took this incredible healing course. There, the instructor told me that we would receive a great gift from Sai Baba. 3 months later, this experience came to me. I have learned since then to have respect for all teachers. We can all learn from each other. I certainly don't have all the answers. I don't know anyone who does. Each of us has something special to offer this world. The Buddhists have a book called Crystal Clear. This book is a sacred doctrine. They decided to release this book to the West. The story goes the techniques are so simple that no one will believe them. Isn't that amazing? It involves concentration on your breath each and every moment we breathe. Behind our breath is the power that keeps the universe alive. Yet, it's too simple. Many people just say it can't be that way. Well, for them, it's true. If you say it's too simple, you will never look within. You can solve this puzzle. Concentrate upon your breath moment by moment. The universe will become alive.
You are never alone. I find it fascinating that all the help in the universe lies inside of us. You are the universe. You just don't know it. In the quantum field lies everything. I mean everything. Our universe is just a finite speck of it all. Yet family is all around us and supporting us. It is a sight to behold. The yogis, Tibetans, and Jains have received guidance and support from these divine friends for many years. We are not alone on this journey of life. Yet we prefer to text on the freeway of life. These divine friends and family are a part of us. Many of them are part of our auric field. They only will help you when you use your free will. Without your free will, it's like a divine car sitting inside of you, just waiting to be driven. An enlightened being is friends with these divine beings because they are our true nature. Help is always around us. You are never alone. You are the universe. You just don't know it. You are never alone. There's a saying, you come into this world alone. You leave this world alone. I beg to differ with this statement. You are never alone. God always holds you in His arms. Granted, the arms aren't physical. Yet your essence is one and the same. You are magnificent. You were not born a sinner. How can you be a sinner when you came directly from God? Granted, we all make mistakes on this journey of life. What would be a journey without learning and growing along the way? How do we fine-tune this guitar of life? How do we change and discover our true nature? How can we be aware and conscious in each and every moment? What steps do we need to take to be aware we are never alone? We have free will. Are we limited by our thoughts? Is the sky the limit on the journey of life? Are we hardwired to find God? If it is so, why is the car gathering dust in the garage? How do we open the garage door within? Am I a piece of the puzzle in life? If so, what is my purpose? What can I do to understand how precious this piece is? Is love just an emotion? Is it true that behind my breath lies the kingdom of heaven? If this is true, how come I was never taught this in school? Do you mean that at times I'm happy and it goes away? It's like a thief in the night. Physical happiness is temporary. That's the nature of all things. Yet are you saying there's an infinite ocean of happiness that lies within? For thousands of years, there have been people diving into this precious ocean. It is free and open to all. All it takes is to silence your mind. Rupasta Dhyana. In Rupasta Dhyana, one reflects on the embodiments of Arihants, the self-realized, the omniscience, and other enlightened people, and their attributes such as 3 umbrellas and whiskers, as seen in many icons. Unconcerned about one's own body, but almighty and benevolent to all living beings, destroyer of attachment and amenity, etc. Thus, the meditator as a human being concentrates his or her attention on the virtues of the omniscient to acquire the same virtues for himself. Arihant is a soul who has conquered inner passions such as attachment, anger, pride, and greed. Having destroyed 4 aminical karmas, they realize the pure self. Savayam Bhava, the primordial father of the human race and sovereign of the earth, who first instituted religious ceremonies and devised a code of laws.
Board of directors. I find it funny that when we were born, we had divine board of directors on board. We all come from the creative source. Yet over time, we slowly fire them one by one. Granted, it was probably unconscious. For some, it might have been conscious. Anyway, we are in a position today where we have forgotten the guidance we received when we were born. Today, we pray for guidance, yet at times it is so elusive. We have forgotten to reboot the computer of life. In this state, we can see the board of directors online. This is not a fairy tale. This is our true nature. Meditation and entering the silence are the key. Unfortunately, we have the key. Within, the door is there. Many even say the door was never closed. There are many rooms in the mansion of life. We have simply ignored them from our neglect. We think we are isolated and alone. Nobody would care less about us. This, my friend, is not true. The same breath that is keeping you alive is keeping the universe alive.